Hey everybody, Sharon here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Overwatch's Halloween Terror 2020 event, going for the Frenzied Stampede achievement. This one can be done anytime the Junkenstein challenges are going to be available in the arcade. This one's going to be to do the second one, which is going to be Frenzied Stampede. Make sure you load that up. We're going to stick with our classic team of McCree, Torbjorn, Brigitte, and Zenyatta. This particular challenge is going to be the regular Junkenstein's Revenge on expert difficulty, but with the gimmick of the zombies moving faster. Only the normal zombies are going to be the ones that are going to move faster, so the ones that do damage to the door. So this shouldn't be too difficult, as these zombies aren't going to deal too much damage with you, and you should be able to kill them way faster since they're going to advance way faster. So you're going to want to stay a little more proactive in taking them out before you get overwhelmed, but again, it shouldn't be too bad, especially if the team is going to be really good at managing all three lanes. So you should be very familiar with Junkenstein at this point. Make sure that Torbjorn pops his turret in one of the three locations, either the upper ledge on the right, the pillar on the left side of the close part of the bridge, or the overturned cart on the far side. As for everyone else, it's going to be pretty much the same as a normal Junkenstein run. However, you are going to be closer to the action as you're going to be moving in between lanes of attack quite often. So instead of hanging back and trying to pick people off from a distance, you're going to move up close to the closest advancing lane and make sure you just take them out. The scripted events are going to be the exact same, so make sure you look out for the first tire at 6 minutes and 51. Make sure someone's calling out for it, and make sure you take it out. You definitely want to make sure you keep a tab on the tires, as you are probably going to take a few door shots from the regular zombies, as they are going to move a little faster. So as long as you are proactive on the tires, the regular zombies aren't going to be too much of a threat to the door, since if you don't let a ton in, they shouldn't damage the door significantly if you don't let any tires hit at all. And even if the zombies get to the door, you should be able to just back up and take care of them rather swiftly. This is going to be one of the easier challenges, thankfully. So make sure you try to thin out the crowd, and we're going to get ready for the first boss fight that's about to drop in at 5 minutes and 48 in the form of the Reaper. Definitely take out all the Zombardiers. The McCree player is going to be the best candidate for this. Make sure Zenyatta is also helping out with those Orbs of Discord so you can weaken them, so you can take them out in a single shot. And then once the board is relatively clear, you're going to get Reaper to fly on in. So Reaper is going to swoop on in. Make sure you watch out for his ultimate. He's going to get it as soon as he phases 4 times, so make sure you keep track of that. If he does end up getting his ultimate, a good McCree stun grenade or a Brigitte shield bash should cancel out his ultimate, so make sure you take advantage of that if the fight ends up going pretty long. Torbjorn's ultimate is going to be a great way to protect the door, and remember to use McCree's ultimate if you can. Remember to shoot the Reaper when he's on his feet and not in the middle of a phase, since you aren't able to hit him with McCree's ultimate during that. Then once you take out the Reaper, you should be back to business as usual. Make sure you get back to clearing those 3 lanes and make sure the regular zombies aren't making too big of a push. And always watch out for those Zombardiers, as you don't want them killing you. Make sure you get ready for those 3 scripted tires in this part. So you're going to have one at 554, 439, and 425. They are all going to be random, so make sure someone's calling out for them. Obviously, the best range character for this is going to be the McCree, so if you want the McCree to hang back and let the Brigitte and the Zenyatta handle the lanes, the McCree player is definitely going to want to try to call out for the tires and take them out. But again, anyone can help out as long as they spot the tires and let the group know where they are and where to attack. Then just make sure you just hold the door, and then we're just going to get through this sequence. Second tire is going to be right up here, and then our third tire is going to show up shortly thereafter, so make sure you don't let these catch you off guard, especially if you know the timestamps. So very useful in predicting those tires, and you can get them relatively quickly. And then try your best not to let one slip through your fingertips, and you should be able to get the door very safely to the next boss fight. So we have Junkenstein's monster, who's going to show up at 353. Again, he's going to have a very chunky health bar, so make sure you use McCree's ultimate to take out a ton of his health, and then everyone should have an easier time of whittling him down. Of course, Zenyatta's Orb of Discord is going to give you better damage on him, so make sure you do take advantage of that. Obviously, the goal for the Junkenstein's monster fight is to not let the fight take too long, as you are going to have a tire pop up at 3 minutes and 24. So try to beat him within 20 to 30 seconds or so, and that tire shouldn't creep up on the team. And if it does, make sure someone's holding back to watch out for that tire. Again, a Torbjorn ultimate is going to be great for this. A McCree ultimate is going to be way better. The McCree is definitely going to want to watch out for his hook, as you are going to possibly get your ultimate canceled if you don't time it well. So be a little careful about that. Make sure you try to get him at an angle. But again, he goes down pretty quickly on this difficulty. Watch out for that tire that does pop up. It is going to creep up on you, especially if the Roadhog fight does end up going a little long. And then we're going to be back on business. We have a pretty safe window right here, so make sure everyone collects their thoughts and heals and all that stuff. We're going to have another boss drop at 2 minutes and 52 in the form of the Symmetra. Symmetra should be easy, however, she does have a ton of health, but her gimmick isn't going to be super deadly or anything, so I recommend not wasting McCree's ultimate on her and just holding it off for the next boss.
As the summoner appeared in their midst.
So she's going to pop on in. Make sure you try to thin out the Zombardiers. The McCree is definitely going to want to try to pop them as soon as he can, as you don't want to deal with them once the barrier pops up. But she's going to rush towards the group, and then make sure you try to whittle her down. You don't want everyone's focus on her, obviously, so make sure you try to keep that door safe. Again, a good Torbjorn ultimate is going to be very useful here, but you definitely don't want to waste McCree's ultimate if you don't have to. Make sure you save it for a tougher boss. But she is going to be super vulnerable to stun spamming, so make sure you get those stun grenades and those shield bashes in, and you should be able to take her out. Make sure you quickly get control of the door back if you are getting overwhelmed by those speedy zombies, and it's going to be back to business. We're going to have a tire show up at 2:36. Make sure you don't let that one catch you off guard, especially if you are encountering it in the middle of the Symmetra fight. And then at 1 minute 52, we're going to have Junkenstein appear. I recommend using a McCree ultimate on him if you must, but again, you can take advantage of anyone else's ultimates.
Junkenstein had made a deal with the Witch of the Wilds.
Once Junkenstein shows up, make sure the McCree gets an angle on him. You definitely want to be away from the door, as Reaper is going to pop up. If you are lucky, you can try to fit both of them in the ultimates, but more likely than not, you're going to have to choose one. And I'm going to recommend taking out the Junkenstein, as he is going to put a ton of damage towards the door, and you don't want him to stack with the Reaper's damage. Torbjorn ult to protect the door, and of course the Zenyatta ult is going to be great if the Reaper is giving everyone too much trouble, but make sure you try to get that Junkenstein low and then finish him off really quickly. His grenades aren't going to be too big of a threat unless you let them stack up, so be a little careful of that. But once he's taken care of, we are going to have our double tire at 49 and 47 seconds. These ones are always going to peer in the same direction, so left and right respectively. The third Reaper is going to drop in at 33 seconds. I recommend if the McCree gets his ultimate at this point, you are going to want to have him hold on to it, as you're going to use it for the last boss fight. Watch out for the tire that pops up shortly thereafter at 25 seconds. It's always going to come from the middle, so make sure you don't let the Reaper distract the team too much. Quickly take out the Reaper by having everyone else gang up on him, and then we're going to just run the clock out. Once that time hits 0, the bosses are going to appear. I recommend McCree find a spot to use his ultimate. Best choice is going to be up on the left lane on the bridge, so you get the high ground on them. If you are being swarmed by Zombardiers, make sure you take them out, as a Zombardier blast can cancel out a McCree ultimate. You can also try to go behind the bosses or in the body of water on the right side, but obviously your priority is to try to take out the Mercy, as you don't want her healing the other bosses. So make sure you use that ultimate, and again, trying to flank the bosses is going to be super useful, as you don't want the Roadhog to cancel out your ultimate. If the McCree player does end up messing up his ultimate, just make sure everyone prioritizes going for the Mercy. Everyone else's ultimate is going to be super helpful at this point. Remember, the bosses aren't going to deal any damage to the door, but you definitely don't want the normal zombies to pile on there, as they are going to move towards the door faster. So make sure you try to take out the Mercy first, and then make sure you get a few people back to the door, and then you could pull the Junkenstein's monster over, and then slowly whittle him down. McCree should get his ultimate back really quickly, so if you did mess up, you can get a second second chance. Try not to mess up a second time, obviously, but if you do, it's not too bad, as you do have everyone else's ultimates to help you out. Remember to stun the Roadhog if he does get his ultimate off, and you should be able to take him out. And then it's just going to be a slow move up to whittle down the Junkenstein. Of course, you can have McCree build up his ultimate, and now that the other two are taken care of, you should have a clear shot at Junkenstein. So make sure you do take advantage of that. Have the McCree use the normal zombies to build up his ultimate, get an angle on the Junkenstein, and then make sure everyone else is pulling his grenades away, and then just fire away, and you should take him out super duper quickly, and then you should be able to make one final push to finish him off.
It's hand.
So here we are, making sure we just put the last few shots in on him, and then once he goes down, that should be all the bosses taken care of, which should wrap up the challenge. There's going to be our victory, and then the achievement that goes along with it should unlock shortly thereafter. That's also going to be another challenge in the books, which is going to leave us with 4 left, but there's the achievement we were going for in this part. 15 gamer score for this one, and that's all there is to it.